Good evening, Dungeon Masters. I'm Baron Durop. WotC research reaffirms what most of us already experience. A typical campaign usually fizzles out after about 6 months or so, or when the party members reach 9th level. But what if 5th edition really starts to shine at these higher levels? What if, at least for veteran players, starting a campaign at level 11 were ideal? I've touched on this topic in my feats critique video, but suffice it to say, 5th edition has a scalability problem. As player characters gain more powers and focus in on their character build, the game's encounters scale to match that power increase. Interestingly though, the rate of this power increase begins to dramatically slow down as characters level up. To illustrate, let's explore a typical human fighter's sword and board's durability and damage output over time. For each level's increase in hit points, we can track the percentage of that hit point increase relative to the hit points the fighter had at the previous level. Upon reaching level 2, they earn nearly a 50% increase in hit points. By level 3, the fighter has twice the durability they started the game with. But this percentage change in durability begins to approach 0 after achieving 5th level. In a nutshell, 8 more hit points doesn't do you much good if you already have 70 of them. The same can be said for the character's damage output across levels. Various class features and extra attacks increase damage output like crazy at the lower levels, especially the 50% jump in damage output at level 5 when gaining extra attacks. But the third extra attack gained at level 11 only increases damage output by 25% compared to the level before. Even worse, damage output increases after level 6 are basically non-existent. These same diminishing power curves are found among other classes as well. Sorcerers gain access to fireball and double cantrip damage upon level 5, but after those fiery achievements, sorcerers begin working their way through some of the most lackluster 4th and 5th level spells in their list. Specifically, none of these new magic spells bring about the same excitement a player had upon gaining access to fireball when achieving level 5. In essence, when these characters gain more crunchy abilities that slow down combat, while also not gaining power at the same rate they remember doing so in prior levels, players become generally disinterested in the campaign. These scaling issues also exist on the DM's end of the table, but it manifests in a really strange way. When crafting a game's central plot and preparing its villains, we anticipate characters will rapidly grow in power, and therefore we create dungeons, villains, and encounters that reflect D&D's inherent character growth. But whereas the power level of a 7th level party isn't really that much different from an 11th level one, it becomes problematic to design challenges that feel worthy of a technically higher level party. These characters could reasonably solve those same problems at level 9. Even if we throw in a Litholich or a Demogorgon at level 7 party, they still have tons of options to protect themselves long enough to escape. As a result, characters who grow up fighting goblins, then gnolls, then ogres, and finally slay an adult dragon can't overtly be threatened anymore, at least not the same way characters felt threatened into earlier levels. But this is an opportunity, not just a problem. Abilities and spell selections during mid-level advancement generally force players to make decisions that broaden their range of options. This contrasts with most early-level advancements, which make characters more skilled at a specific narrow task. Sorcerers realize they can only take so many permutations of fire flinging, be it firebolt, burning hands, scorching ray, fireball, and finally wall of fire, before these spells become increasingly redundant. As characters level, they find themselves making more boring selections to their character's loadout. But these perceivably boring selections inadvertently increase a character's breadth to their problem-solving ability. So if characters don't really gain more power output or durability, but instead gain abilities which help them respond to more unique threats in unique ways, but the slow grind of gaining those abilities is boring enough to become disinterested in the game, why not throw more experienced players who won't be overwhelmed by it straight into an 11th level campaign? Characters will have enough options to handle, or at least retreat from, whatever challenges the Dungeon Master throws at them. This in turn means that encounter design, dungeon concepts, and storylines don't have to worry about those early level power jumps from 2nd to 3rd level and again from 4th to 5th level. Not only this, but Tinkerer players will finally have an opportunity to try some of their level 20 build ideas. By starting the game at level 11 or so, your stories can get extremely wild, fantastical, and creative right from the start. And this solves yet another problem dungeon masters endure when it comes to game scalability. We don't need to worry about the triflings of goblins or kobolds to have a convincing, long-term story. The major threats in your game world's plot can immediately be interacted with in a meaningful way, without needing to worry through contrived low-level monster story relevancy. Enemies no longer need to justify their cooperations with goblins or orcs, who are famously uncooperative, yet would be pressed into an extra-dimensional being service. If you'd like to help me make more content like this in the future, please consider supporting me on Patreon or becoming a YouTube channel member. Thanks for watching, Dungeon Masters, and until next time, good night.